from about beginning of March to the next 3 months. Do not be too alarmed by what is happening in your cycle.
Hello and welcome to the Feminine as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Monica Yates, a period and ICF certified women's life coach, and I help women to harness the power of their period and connect to their feminine flow. In these episodes, we will be talking about all things periods, hormones, confidence, health, food, money, sex, business, feminine flow, your brain, energy, and all the stuff that goes through our heads. You will walk away from each episode with new chicken nuggets and truth bombs, as I don't have a filter and I love talking about all the shit that people are thinking but too afraid to say.
Hi ladies, welcome back to my podcast. Welcome. So I'm actually doing a little episode about, I'm actually going to kind of make it about two things. I need a piece of paper. Fuck, I'm just going to write in this. I'm going to make it about two things. Firstly, no, I need another piece of paper. 1 second. I'm making this podcast episode about two things. Firstly, I want to give you guys an update on my corona symptoms and whatnot. A lot of you are asking me when I was really, really sick. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, you may not have seen it, but there is like I did make it cover a COVID, that's how you pronounce it, COVID-19 highlight, which you can go look at. But a lot of you are very interested in my symptoms, so I've left them all there for you to go over. But basically what the doctor thinks, I did like a consultation over online, and what the first doctor said, she thinks what happened was I got corona, and then my immune system got so fucked from corona, I then developed strep throat. So I had strep throat on top of corona. So I went on a very hard course of antibiotics, and most of you would be aware of this. And then my throat hadn't fully gone away. So I phoned the doctor the other day to get another course of antibiotics, because what's happened before for me, which is disgusting, but I'm going to tell you guys. So when I was, maybe like 19, I think it was, I got a really bad case of tonsillitis, and I was on antibiotics for the tonsillitis because it got to a point where like no natural remedies were doing the job. So I went a course of antibiotics and it fixed it. And then I came off the antibiotics and it came back again about a week later, but it turned into quinsy. Don't Google quinsy, okay? Quinsy is when your tonsils get so big on the inside that they block your ability to breathe and swallow. So you have to go to the hospital. This is how it happened to me. You have to go to the hospital and they have to drain your tonsils. So they put a needle into your like tonsils or into your gland. I think it's tonsils where all the fluid is, and they drain your tonsils with this giant needle in your mouth. It's fucking disgusting, but it gives us like immediate relief at the same time. So it's like one of those weird things. Anyway, so I'm not on another course of antibiotics because even though I kind of want to be, which I'm super not a fan of antibiotics by any means. You guys would be pretty aware of this. Like, obviously, it's not the ideal thing to be on. It's not great for your system. But I was at a point where I was so sick that I filled in this online survey with Babylon, which is like a London online doctor service. And it said at the end of the survey, you need to call an ambulance. And I was like, well, that's not fucking happening. So hence I got the antibiotics, which is great. But I phoned this new doctor, and she was like, that antibiotics that you're on is like bleach, Monica. If that has not killed whatever's in your system, like I can't, she was basically like, I can't put you on other antibiotics because it's like, that shit is like bleach. So I was like, great. And now my throat's kind of getting bad again. So with corona, basically what I wanted to share is obviously there's a sore throat component. Mine definitely turned into more of a bacterial infection. But this now is like a viral thing, obviously, that I have to just fight off or whatever. Whether it's corona or not, we don't 100% know. There is a very, very high chance of it being corona, obviously. I've got all the other symptoms besides the cough. So, the fever, I had the fever, the shakes, the body aches, like the body aches, like I've never had body aches before in my life, and a fever like I've never had before in my life. So pretty intense. Point being, guys, please stay inside. I went for a walk, just around Hyde Park today by myself in London. We're allowed to go for a 1 hour walk, and there was people just like lying down sunbaking and stuff, and the police were like going bananas. So please just stay the fuck inside, because this is going to take so much longer to get rid of if we don't just obey what they're saying, and it's probably going to turn pretty fucking dirty if we don't obey what they're saying. So let's all do our piece so we can all go on our fucking summer holidays, because for once in my life I'm craving the beach, the sun, wearing a dress and being in the water. And that is a rare occurrence. Normally I want to be inside by a fire. No, fuck insides now. I just want to be outside by the beach. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today was how to navigate your cycle during this time. So, first things first, what I've said to a lot of my clients is from like beginning of March kind of thing, depending where you were in your cycle when this whole thing really picked up for you in terms of stress levels, from about beginning of March to the next 3 months, do not be too alarmed by what is happening in your cycle. The reason for this is that we have been, as women, under an immense amount of stress, and our body has kind of been, from a lot of us, me definitely included, our body has been in a state of like fight or flight survival. The world is not safe right now kind of thing. Especially for me, right? And if you had to like travel home from somewhere or whatnot, this will definitely be especially for you as well. So with that being said, for some, I feel like it's going to be a big split. Some people are going to get their periods early, especially like this month, probably early, because their progesterone is going to be low from all the stress, because every time that your body secretes cortisol, which is your stress hormone, it takes out of your progesterone stores. So in order for your period to be in order for your cycle to be the correct amount of days, your progesterone is what keeps your period held in, also keeps the baby held in. It's what keeps your progesterone held in that luteal phase, and then you obviously bleed in your menstrual phase, right? So you've got, in terms of phases, phase 1 is obviously you're bleeding from day 1 of your bleed. That's day 1 of your cycle. You bleed, you go into follicular phase, ovulation, luteal phase, bleed. So in your luteal phase, your progesterone should be really high, and that's what holds your period in before your progesterone and estrogen drop, and then you bleed. And if you don't have enough progesterone from pretty much stress, then you're obviously going to get your period earlier. So for some people, they're going to get their period earlier. That will often happen for the majority of people if, a sip of my drink, if they have had the major stress after they have ovulated, right? Now, for some of us, what's going to happen is that our cycles are going to get longer, because especially around the major stress time. So for me, it would have been mid-March before I ovulated. That around that time, all the stress was coming. So my body would have communicated, now is not the time to have a baby. Let's delay ovulation to when we are safe again. So what that might mean for me, and my period will come on the full moon, or it will come afterwards. So maybe by the time this is out, it'll be kind of soon. So what was I saying? So if your ovulation is delayed, then your whole period's going to be pushed off a little bit as well, because your cycle will be delayed, especially if you've been able to pick up progesterone in terms of lowering your cortisol after the major stress has happened. I really did. So that will also probably help with me not getting bad PMS per se, but having a much longer cycle. So I basically just want us to not be too alarmed right now if your cycle's really long or if your cycle's really short. Rule of thumb, if something happens once, don't worry about it. If something happens again, start to be like, there's a pattern here. If it happens 3 times, definitely be like, right, what's going on? And if it happens a 4th time, you definitely need to fix the problem. So the reason why I say this is because it can take quite a while with our cycles to settle out once like something big has shifted us. So for example, if over the next 2 months you have really raging sore boobs and you're like, why? Do not be too concerned about it because of the amount of stress going on in our external environment. If, however, you start to have sore boobs for the next 5 months, you need to start being more concerned about it, and obviously flushing out estrogen, looking at iodine levels, that kind of stuff. Maybe booking an appointment with me or doing my Turning Off Your Period Problems program, because that also has everything that you need to know in there as well. And that's really, really comprehensive. So it's kind of 2 options in terms of what might be happening during your cycle. So please don't be too concerned. There's nothing wrong with you. In fact, this is actually your body playing out one of its protective mechanisms. So honor that and see it as like a bit of a blessing that your body's working so well, and that it's really, really, it's listening to what's happening in your life, because that's pretty important. Now, just some key things in terms of what we can be doing to support our hormones right now, especially in terms of stress and lack of vitamin D, because we're not going out so much. So it is really important that if you, depending where you're living in the world, if you can go outside, I know in London we're allowed to go for a 1-hour walk every day or a run. If you are allowed to do that, then please make sure that you do, especially on those sunny days, especially sunny days. And if you can, go outside wearing like a t-shirt so that your skin can absorb lots of vitamin D. Don't rug yourself up if, depending where you are in the world, just try and have some skin exposure. You don't need to lie in the sun, but you need to have skin exposure for about 15 minutes to get a good amount of vitamin D. Vitamin D from the sun is different to vitamin D in a capsule, but vitamin D in a capsule would still be supportive for you, just as like an in-between kind of thing for right now. So vitamin D is really important, and also just your circadian rhythm. So your melatonin production is definitely going to affect your cycle. So please make sure that you are sleeping in pitch black dark, and that when you wake up and you open your windows, you let the light into your apartment or into your home, or you put your fucking head out the window if you're living in New York City where there's not much light. Put your head out the window and get some light on your face. You need to wake yourself up, or get a what are they called? You can get like sun lamps. Get a sun lamp if you need a sun lamp to wake you up in the morning to help your body produce the correct amount of melatonin. The next thing that I also want to mention to you guys is because of the amount of high stress, our estrogen probably will rise a little bit during this phase this phase of our life. It's okay, we're not going to die from it per se, but it's definitely important to be supporting our body in the way that we can. So some really good things for reducing estrogen dominance, and the way that you'll see estrogen dominance is things like heavy bleeding, painful periods, PMS, sore boobs, mood swings, that kind of stuff. So if you're bloating and painful periods, so if you're getting that could be estrogen dominance. And for all of us, we should always be trying to reduce our estrogen levels anyway, because we live in a world with a lot of xenoestrogens. So we should always just be thinking about, how can I flush out my estrogen levels? Let me just take a sip. Okay, so for flushing out estrogen, things like brassica vegetables, really amazing. Brassica vegetables are things like cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, bok choy, asparagus, kale, broccoli sprouts, like alfalfa, like those sprouty things. All those sorts of things are really, really good for flushing your liver out. Then you've got bone broth, you've got turmeric, lemon water, ginger, what else? All your healthy fats, your collagen, magnesium, zinc, iodine, they're all really important. If you're having, let me just fucking say this once and say it really, really well. If you are eating pink Himalayan rock, whatever the fuck it's called, sea salt, fuck that shit off. Do not buy it. It is so expensive. It is so unsustainable, and it does not contain the essential nutrient iodine. I was saying this to some of my clients last night in one of my groups. Please, you need to go to the supermarket and you need to pick up the salt and look at the package. If it says this product does not contain the essential nutrient iodine, put it fucking down and don't buy it, because you need iodine for your thyroid and for obviously reducing estrogen in your body and your body properly metabolizing the estrogen. So in America, if you're in America, go to Whole Foods and go to the kosher section in Whole Foods. They sell good salts. If you're in Australia, then get the Saxa salt. It's called iodized sea salt, and it's got like a green and white label. If you're in the UK, I bought some Murray River sea salt flakes. I bought it from the fruit and veggie dude. I know it comes from Australia, not sustainable in terms of the packet, like getting it sent here. But I'm not going to a million shops, obviously, with what's happening. So I got what I could. So please make sure that you got iodine in your salt, and fuck off with the Himalayan sea salt. Other things for reducing estrogen as well is obviously reducing your stress. That's really, really important. Making sure that you have a good gut bacteria is also really important. So what can often happen is that your liver flushes out estrogen. It goes down to your bowels, and then your bowels don't excrete them because you need a certain type of bacteria in your gut to metabolize estrogen and get rid of it through your bowels. So please go to my favorite products page and get the Gut Right on the page. And whilst we're all at home, do the fucking Gut Right 10-day cleanse. It is really important. It is great for your gut, and it will really help your body to metabolize the estrogen. Okay? So they're like my top tips for reducing estrogen. And obviously, if you've got my Turning Off Your Period Problems program or the Art of Coming Off Hormonal Birth Control, make sure you're doing everything in there. The Art of Coming Off Hormonal Birth Control, you can still apply that to what's happening right now. Just that basically is for anyone as well that's got high estrogen, low progesterone. Same kind of protocol, because the pill is basically, we're trying to flush out the estrogen and boost up your progesterone from the pill. So same sort of protocol. Okay. Next thing is to boost your progesterone. So obviously stress is the number one thing that's going to fuck your progesterone levels. So progesterone is what rises in the second half of your cycle, or what it should rise, and it should make you feel cool, calm, collected. It's got a very anti-anxiety, antidepressant effect. And so if you're getting PMS and mood swings and depression and anxiety and like rage blackouts during that phase of your cycle, then please, you need to boost your progesterone. That is not normal. It is common, but it is not normal. PMS should not be a thing. I'm in my luteal phase right now, and this is how I feel. I feel a little bit more tired. I can't hold a plank for as long. I'm hungry, not cravings, hunger. So quickly jumping on that for a second. When you are, I feel like I should almost do a different podcast on that one, basically. Actually, I'm going to just pause this and put it on an IGTV at the same time. Okay, so the difference between hunger and cravings. This is really fucking important. So in my luteal phase, I get hungry. I do not have cravings. So a craving is like you've eaten your lunch or you've eaten your dinner and you're craving something sweet. You just want something, right? You're not fucking starving. Your stomach is not grumbling. You're not feeling like I really need food. You're like, I want this certain thing. Okay, that's a craving. Hunger, I had this before. Hunger is like I've eaten breakfast, 2 hours later, which is like I normally survive like 6 hours from a meal. Like between 4 and 6, I'd say more like 4 in my luteal phase, but sometimes even less. So this morning had my breakfast, and then I did a workout like a bit after my breakfast, and then I was gonna go for a walk, and it was like, I guess like 2:30 at this point, and I didn't want any food, but my stomach was grumbling and I was really fucking hungry. And it's like, and I'm standing there like, oh my God, I wish this would fuck off. Like, I don't want to eat anything. Like, what am I gonna eat? And hunger is like, I'll eat anything to make this like hunger go away. I'm not craving anything. So what did I do? I went and I got Koyo out of the fridge and had a big spoonful of Koyo. And I didn't want Koyo. I didn't want anything. I just didn't want to be hungry. Like I wasn't craving something. I was actually physically hungry. That's a difference. So hunger is a sign that you have a good amount of progesterone or plenty of progesterone, because progesterone boosts your metabolism. Cravings, on the other hand, cravings are a sign that you have had a massive drop off from estrogen in the first half of your cycle, and that often will show me that you've got too much estrogen and it hasn't been counteracted or balanced with plenty of progesterone. And that's where you then get the PMS and the cravings. And what you're craving is serotonin, because your brain has had this massive drop off from the estrogen, and estrogen makes you feel happy and gives you serotonin, and progesterone should rise to give you that anti-anxiety, antidepressant effect, so you're feeling cool, calm, and collected. But if you don't have enough progesterone, you don't get that, and therefore you're like not balanced on a seesaw. You're like too far one side, and you get the cravings. So cravings are actually not a sign that you are like, oh, my body needs more food. No, it's actually that your body wants serotonin and you need to balance your hormones. Hunger, on the other hand, hunger tells me, hunger when you're like, I don't want to eat, but you're fucking starving, like you'll rip someone's head off. Hunger is that you have plenty of progesterone. That's the difference. Okay. So when you are, when we're talking about boosting your progesterone stores, please make sure that you are really working on stress reduction. So stress is like the root reason why you have low progesterone. So we need to work on that. No amount of like fucking supplements is going to fix your stress levels. You need to fix that. So working on stress levels, especially right now, during Corona, it's a great time to be working on that, because we've got so much time off and we've got time to be lazy. Please do not fall into the trap of thinking, I have to be so fucking productive right now. Every day's got to be an amazing day. You know, every day for me isn't an amazing day. Like right now, it's really not. I have some good days. I have some like days, right? I am lucky in that. When as soon as I get on a coaching call, I get so fucking high that I'll then have a really great rest of the afternoon. I'll pump out a pile of work, but it can really take me quite a bit in the morning to get my mojo. Right now, I've got my mojo and it's 5:53 p.m. Right, and I don't think I had my mojo until about 3 p.m. today. So please don't think that like because I'm recording podcasts and doing a pile of stuff, and you can see that through Instagram, that every day is perfect for me. It's definitely not. So give yourself a break, be easy on yourself, nourish your mind, body, and soul. So many of us are doing all the great things in terms of exercising. That's amazing. But are we doing the great things in terms of honoring our soul and nourishing our soul? What does our soul need? What does our energy need right now? How can we nourish our energy during this time? Something that's really good for boosting progesterone, I mentioned it before, is Vitex. So Vitex is a Chinese herb, also called chaserberry, and it's been used for tens of thousands of years. Only 1% of the population has an adverse reaction. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so please, like, how do I say, like, what's the thing to say? Like, this is not medical advice. Do your own research, like, thingy is what I'm saying. Whatever, you guys know what I mean. So do your own research if you want to. I use it for my clients. I've had one client in all of my time that had an adverse reaction. Only 1% of the population has an adverse reaction to it. And it's generally like a skin flare-up of acne or a rash. Just monitor yourself, but don't placebo it. Don't worry about it. It's not a dangerous supplement whatsoever. It's really good for your cycle. It helps to balance out your hormones and to regulate your cycle. And it tells your brain the world is a safe place. And therefore, if the world is a safe place, you're not going to be stressing as much. And therefore, your progesterone stores are going to stay higher. So it's a really good supplement to be taking if you're not already taking it. Other things to boost your progesterone is basically anything that's going to reduce your stress levels. So high-dose turmeric tablets reduces stress. Again, these are all on my favorite products page. What was I saying? High-dose turmeric reduces your stress levels. Sweet potato during your luteal phase is really good at nighttime. It blunts your cortisol levels. Make sure you're having that at night so you can like fall asleep really well. Some carbs at night are really, really healthy to help you fall asleep, especially in your luteal phase. Please make sure also, as per my exercise podcast, I think it's episode 4, something around there, please make sure that you are not doing a HIIT. Please, no fucking HIIT especially around luteal phase. I mean, you need to be really careful as a woman with HIIT anyway. It stresses your body out a lot. So please make sure that you are doing more low interval stuff. You can still get that amazing fucking burn, like with Pilates and whatnot, like a hard Pilates, but please do not be doing HIIT classes, especially in your luteal phase and in your period. You want to be exercising for no more than 40-45 minutes at a time. So really keeping not doing really, really long workouts during that time, because what will happen is your body will actually start to store fat and not burn fat. So if you want to be getting the best results in your exercise, and I know it can be really hard to train your mind to believe this, but trust me when I say that you really want to take more relaxation time in the second half of your cycle, so your luteal phase and when you're bleeding, really taking the time to settle and to read more and to quieten down, and you'll actually end up losing weight, and then you can exercise a lot more in your follicular phase and your ovulation phase. Okay. What else for boosting progesterone? L-tyrosine can be really helpful for some people as well to boost their progesterone, and also just to help their serotonin in their brain. If you feel like you're struggling with serotonin levels, that would also be really good for you to be doing. Also, make sure that you're not having a fuck ton of sugar if you don't already know that. Sugar is like not a vibe. Basically, it's going to cause your body to be under a lot of stress trying to eliminate all that sugar, and we want to be really supporting our liver. And if your liver's trying to churn through 70 grams of sugar a day, it's not really going to be the most helpful thing for you right now. So please make sure that you are reducing your sugar load, including not overdoing the natural sugars as well. Something to also make note of is that if you have thyroid issues, it can affect your progesterone levels. So please make sure that you're looking after your thyroid. If you feel like you are really stressed and you need some supplemental support, then look at my favorite products page and you can look at the Court RX supplement, and that's really helpful for reducing your stress levels. Vitamin C also, that's what I want to say. Vitamin C is also super, super important for boosting your progesterone. So vitamin C helps with the production of progesterone. So you can use camu powder. Camu powder is a natural form of vitamin C. It's kind of like, it's like an acai berry, I guess, in a way. but it's not obviously an acai berry. But you could think of it like a similar thing. It's just a berry, and it's like the highest form of natural vitamin C. You can just literally put a quarter of a teaspoon in it in your turmeric latte, in your coffee. I wouldn't put it in coffee. It's quite bitter. It'll make your coffee taste like arsehole. You can put it in your yogurt, put it in your porridge, put it in smoothies, put it in a cacao elixir, whatever you want to. And that's really good for also helping your progesterone stores. So doing all of these things are going to be really supportive. Also making sure that you're having a vitamin B6 supplement if you're not eating much meat. For a while, I really couldn't find much meat when I first came to London, and in New York, it's really hard to find good quality meat. So if you're not eating good quality meat, please make sure that you are having a vitamin B6 supplement, because it is really important for us women and for our cycle. Okay, so these are like the main things that I want you guys to be focusing on. Oh, and obviously lots of orgasms always. Please make sure that you're having lots of orgasms. This isn't the time to stop the pleasure. Like, please keep doing all the things that make you feel pleasure, that make you feel abundant, that make you feel delicious and in your feminine energy. I'm so excited for the Queen Alchemy with ladies, because you guys are just going to be fucking like orgasming left, right, and center in your house now. Not just from an actual orgasm, but just from like eating and having baths, and like, what a way to be doing quarantine, right? Quarantine with a fuck ton of pleasure. Yes, please. So if any of you are wanting to do Queen Alchemy, make sure that you have checked out the link and read the whole page. Scroll down to the bottom and you'll see the weekly outline as well, and everything that's included. As per usual, you get one-on-one time and also the group calls, and we do deep healing on all of the group calls and trauma release. It's not just like me teaching you stuff, but it's going to be so much fun. Like, imagine doing that whilst we're in quarantine. I'm so excited for it. Like, it's a vibe. And even the mastermind girls were saying, like, I'm so glad that I did this round in the mastermind, so I have all this support right now during this time. And I'm like, yes, I was thinking the exact same thing. I feel so blessed to be able to support so many of you through this difficult time. And if you're wanting to get a taste of my work, make sure that you've come or you will come to one of the online circles. We've got breath work coming up. We've also got my turning fear into love, and then we're going to do a protection spell. They're both so different and so beautiful. So I'd come to both of them if you can. They're $22, so super affordable. I know a lot of you wanted to come to the tarot circle that didn't come last time. I'll put one out probably in a month's time, and then I'll put a business one out in a few weeks as well, because a lot of you said on my poll that you'd like another one of the business circles that I did that went down super well as well. It was so full of juice. So make sure that you're all following me on Instagram, because I'm constantly doing these little like pop-up things, just because like I feel like my crown, which Corona means crown, is so open, and just like I'm just like channeling so many ideas. So make sure you look at that. But yeah, for your period and for your hormones, the most important thing right now is that you're moving every day, yoga, Pilates, going for a walk if you can, stretching, that sort of stuff. Please make sure that you're just nourishing your soul. If that means Netflix, read Netflix. If that means Netflix, watch Netflix, read your books, make sure you're journaling, enroll in some programs that are going to make you feel really fulfilled, whether they're online. I also have my Magic Money and Manifestation program and my Witch Women Wisdom program. And my Witch Women Wisdom program is like a super witchy fun stuff. I mean, it's a great thing to be doing right now with Corona. And then obviously the Magic Money and Manifestation, amazing to be doing, because it's going to help you stay in that abundant energy and not in this scarcity. So just really focus on like what things are going to make me feel happy right now and make me feel connected to myself, because that's also really going to help your cycle, because it's going to help your cortisol levels. The main and most important thing though that I really want to mention to you guys, and I said at the beginning and I want to reiterate it, is please do not worry if some things are changing in your cycle over the next 2 to 3 months. Do not be alarmed. Let them happen. Nourish your body as best as you can. Make some notes from this podcast episode, get my Turning Off Your Period Problems program that will really be supportive for you during this time. And just don't be too alarmed about things shifting and whatnot, because we're under a lot of stress and things are changing. The uncertainty causes us as women to feel ungrounded. And if our body doesn't feel safe, our body then says to ourselves, our body then says to us, now is not the time to make a baby. So everything kind of gets a little bit haywire in our cycle. And if you are trying to conceive a baby, I would also say that if you're struggling during this time, I really wouldn't worry about it. I know that it's not the thing you want to hear, but for a lot of us women, we might actually be having anovulatory cycles, and an anovulatory cycle is a cycle when you are not ovulating, and that's generally because your body doesn't feel like it's safe to have a baby. So be really kind to yourself. Please make sure that if you are in a partnership and you're wanting to have a baby, it's really important that your partner is supporting you and making you feel so safe, because your body really needs that so that you can then be ovulating and then obviously create an amazing baby. I know actually quite a few, this is another thing I should put on my list during quarantine time, create my pregnancy program. I know so many of you wanted me to create my pregnancy program because I have such a focus with pregnancy around the energetics behind it and clearing your trauma and everything. So I should definitely create like a pregnancy package or programmy kind of thing. So I feel like what would actually be the best thing to be doing is creating like a video that you can watch all about like the nutritional side, and then you get a one-on-one with me, or maybe 2 one-on-ones with me to like do all the energy clearing. If you're interested in that, can you please send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook, because I will make that if enough of you are like, yes, I really would like that. I feel like that could be helpful. I could put together like all the supplements and the food component of stuff, and then be doing some of those energy clearing things to make sure that you're bringing that your baby feels like that your womb is safe to come into, basically. And yeah, that could be really amazing. I'm loving that. Good download, Monica. Thanks, ladies, for giving me that download, and gentlemen. All right. Well, please, everybody stay safe, nourish your bodies, look after yourself. Please let me know if you enjoyed this podcast, and please share it with your girlfriends, because I'm sure some of them are going to be a little bit worried about their cycle and whatnot. No need to be worried. Our body is doing what it knows how to do, and it's protecting us. All right. Have an amazing day, and don't forget to check out all the links in the description for the supplements and for Queen Alchemy and all the programs that I mentioned in this if you want to go a little bit deeper. I love you. Have an amazing day.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got lots of chicken nuggets out of today's episode. I would be really, really grateful if you'd be able to leave me a review and a star rating that you think is appropriate, hopefully 5. And if you could share this podcast so that I can help more women live a life of flow and ease, I would be so fucking grateful. Make sure you tag me in it on Instagram so I can personally thank you, because I know so many of my clients have found me literally because their friends have posted about my podcast on their Instagram story. And I just want to help as many women as possible. So by you sharing it, I would be so fucking grateful, and I'm sure your friends would be too. If you do want to welcome me, please do check out my website for all those details. And of course, you can DM me on Instagram with any other questions. If you have any podcast things you want me to talk about, any ideas, any feedback, I am always open to it, and I always love hearing what you guys have to say. So please don't hesitate about that either. I will catch you on the flip side. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are.